everyone, it's Lydia here at Lydia's Leisurely Stitching. Today is Sunday, June 1st, 2025, and welcome to my 51st Flosstube video. It's great to have you here today. If you're returning, I want to say thank you for coming back, and if you're new, I hope you find something you like and have reason to subscribe and stick around in the future. So today I have one new start to show you, and two works in progress that I worked on in the month of May. And then I want to talk about the goals that I've accomplished so far in the year and making new plans going forward for the rest of the year. So let's just get straight into it. So my new start, this is Poltergeist Pirates by Glendon Place. And this is what it'll look like when it's finished. This is stitched on 28 count LeStrange by Atomic Ranch Fabrics. This is a lugana. And this is what I've done so far. So I started this on May 9th, and I worked on it for 6 days and did 2,817 stitches. And that includes the back stitch. So the skull is stitched in glow-in-the-dark petite treasure braid, and then the pattern suggests back stitching as you go because there's a lot of back stitching in this. So I've already back stitched the skull and crossbones and the little bit of sail that I've done so far. I haven't gotten to the crow's nest back stitching yet, but I think it's looking really good. One thing that I think is funny though is this little bit of sail here that sticks up. I guess it must be starched really nicely for it to stick up like that. And I really like the colors used in the sail. They, especially at the top, they look like fabric that's been left out in the weather, and it started to get a little bit mildewy and gross. So I like that. That's pretty cool. So that's Poltergeist Pirates. I guess I should give you an overview of my stitching for the month before I go in too far. So in the month of May, I did 18,440 stitches. Of those, 15,623 were full coverage, and 2,817 were non-full coverage. So the only non-full coverage stitching I did this month was on Poltergeist Pirates. Going into the month, I had no full coverage whips. So I figured it was time for a new start. And I want to thank all of you that watched my last video. I had asked for your suggestions. I had 4 possible fabrics picked out, and I was considered bleaching them to give them a starry look, because the called for fabric has lots of little splotches around, kind of looks like stars. And I was leaning towards this fabric. I really like the colors. And y'all agreed that this one you preferred. And you all told me not to bleach the fabric because it would be a little bit too harsh. And so I listened to you. And I think it'll be fine without the splotchiness. And the called for fabric is a fat third. I'm using a fat half. It's going to be a really big piece. And that's going to affect my plans. I'm not really sure when to talk about plans. I know most people talk about plans at the end. I feel like it makes the most sense to talk about them as I'm showing the piece. So, so far this year, I've averaged about 1,000 to 2,000 stitches a month on non-full coverage pieces. And so this month was my highest non-full coverage stitching month at 2,800. So, and that's a really big piece. So I don't think that 1,000 to 2,000 stitches a month is going to cut it on that. So what I'm planning to do this month is I'm going to try and do 300 stitches a day, Monday through Friday on that piece. So that's 1,500 stitches a week, or 6,000 stitches in the month. And I'm excited to see how far along that will progress. So let's move on to my existing whips. So the first one is Victorian Christmas Eve. This is by the Cross Stitch Arts, and this is what it'll look like when it's finished. This one, this is what it'll look like, what it looked like last time I showed it to you. This is stitched on 32 count pearl gray lugana 2/2. And here it is now. It's getting pretty big. So this month, I worked on it for 3 days and did 1,220 stitches. And I worked down here, I worked on filling in the snow underneath the lady in the blue dress and the lady in the red dress. And so this over here is the edge of another person. Next time I work on it, I'm going to work on filling in this window. So I did the snow from here to here. I think I already had this bit done. So originally this year, my goal was to get this piece to 75%. At the beginning of the month, it was at 65.28%. And at the end of month, it's at 67.88%. So I've only got 3,348 stitches left to get it to 75% complete, which was, like I said, my goal for this entire year. So I was thinking about it, and this piece, I had figured that if I got to 75% this year, that I'd be able to finish it next year. But I hadn't really worked out the math for that. So what I decided to do is there's 6 pages in the piece, and it's got backstitching, which I haven't done yet. There's backstitching all around the people, that wreath and the balloons get backstitched. This part here, it's supposed to be a man selling chestnuts. That part is going to be, I think, a little bit tricky to backstitch. So there's 6 pages that need backstitching. I haven't done any of the backstitching yet. So I figured what I would do is, working backwards, if I'd like to have it finished by the start of December next year, so that I have time to get it framed for Christmas. That means that I need to finish it in November. So I would like to give 1 month per page of backstitch. So if I go backwards from November 6 months, that's May. So that gives me 12 months between now and May of next year to finish the stitching. And there's 15,108 stitches left. So if I divide that by 12, I get 1,260. So I need to do 1,260 stitches per month on this to get it finished in time for next Christmas. So I think that's pretty doable. So that's my plan for this one going forward. So the next one I want to show you has been my focus piece so far this year. This is Once Upon a Fairytale, artwork by Jenna and Della, Grottaglia, Maldonado, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And this is what it looks like last time I showed it to you. This is stitched on 28 count easy count lugana, 1/1 full cross. And since the last time I showed this to you, I've done 14,401 stitches over 28 days. So there were only 3 days in the month that I didn't work on it. Pretty impressive, I think. This one is getting big. This is my biggest whip currently. And here it is now. It's getting big. So let me zoom in on where I worked. So I worked on this page here, the page with the owl. So I completed that page, and then I started on this page over here, which is about halfway done. And that owl just looks amazing, doesn't he? I was working down, I wanted to get him completed. So, yeah. So my goal for this year was to get it to 15% complete. And at the end of May, I'm at 15.37% complete. So that is my goal for the year completed. And I've got a total of 70,040 stitches in it. So that's what 70,000 stitches looks like. So going forward, I'll finish this page, and then I'm going to come up here and work on these pages. The halfway point, halfway going down, is about here. So I've reached the halfway point. And then if I go over one more page, that'll be the halfway point over here. So I think I'll do this page and then work on doing the pages going down. Let's zoom in on the owl one more time. Doesn't he look so good? Yeah. So, this piece, originally, when I started this piece last October, my goal was to do 10% a year, to get it done in 10 years. So I started it in October, and my goal was to get it to 10% by this October. Well, I got it to 5% from October to December last year. So I said, okay, I'll make my goal to do 10% from January to January this year. And I've already done that. I've done the 5% last year plus 10% this year, which puts me at 15%. So I'm not prepared to set a new goal on this one right now. I want to focus on some of my other whips and see how I can get those progressing. But I'm not going to say I'm not going to work on this. I love this one. None of my other pieces that I think that I could work on for 28 days in a month and not get tired of. So this one, it's still going to be coming out. I just don't have a hard and fast goal set for it. Yeah. So that's Once Upon a Fairytale. And that's everything I worked on for the month of May. Now I've got one more whip, which I'm going to share with you. And this is what it'll look like when it's finished. This is Ornament Log Cabin Home, artwork by Dominic Davison, and it's chartered by Heaven and Earth Designs. And this is what, well, there's no need to show you what it looked like last time because it hasn't changed. So here it is so far. And my goal this year was to get it at 2/3 complete, so 66.66% complete. Right now, to get it to 66% complete, I need to do another 4,300 stitches. So that's pretty doable even just in 1 month. So I thought about, what I want, and I want to get this finished by next October, which will be its 4th birthday. So not this October in 2025, but October 2026 will be its 4th birthday. So this is 59,763 stitches. So there's 37,240 stitches left. So to get it finished by next October, that's 17 months, I need to do 2,200 stitches a month. So that's going to be my plan going forwards, is to get that about 2,000 stitches done a month. So this month, I'm going to work on this, I think, every other weekend and see if I can get those 2,000 stitches in. I have a feeling that I'll get more than that done, but these are just the minimums that I want to achieve. So if we recap, I've got Poltergeist Pirates that I'm going to work on during the weekdays, and my goal is to get 6,000 stitches done on that. And then 2 weekends of the month, I'm going to work on Victorian Christmas Eve. Let me take that back. 1 weekend of the month, I'm going to work on Victorian Christmas Eve, and I need to do 1,260 stitches in that weekend, which is a little bit of a stretch, but I think I can do it. And then 2 weekends, I'll work on Cabin and try to get 2,200 stitches. And then the other weekend, as a free weekend, I can work on whatever I want. I might work on Once Upon a Fairytale just to get all of my whips some love. So I've got 6,000 plus 1,000 plus 2,000. That's 9,000 stitches. So this month I did 18,000 stitches, and I've been averaging anywhere between, I think, 15,000 and 18,000 stitches. Now, I really honestly don't know how I've done that much stitching each month. I think that an average stitching day is about 300 stitches, but my calculations tell me that my average stitching days have between 550 stitches and 650 stitches per month, which is just crazy. And so I don't want to bank on being that productive going forwards. The weather is nice now, so I need to spend more time outside and focus a little bit more on my health. So I wouldn't be surprised if my stitching takes a little bit of a dip, which is fine because as you can see, my goals only add up to about half the stitches I've been doing in a month. So I think that it's okay if I don't get as much stitching in as I've been getting in. I'm really proud of myself for achieving the goals I've already accomplished so far and getting so close to the ones I haven't accomplished but can easily be finished up this month. So yeah, those are my whips and my plans going forward. Thanks for coming and spending some time with me today. If you haven't subscribed yet and you would like to get notifications about my next video, go ahead and do so. Drop me a comment and let me know you've been here. Let me know what you're working on while you've watched. And I will see you at the end of June with my June recap video. Thanks again, everyone. Talk to you later.